The template designer can be accessed from several different forms within Clevercat. The most common method will be to click the Template Editor button on the Data Editor form. This way, the template designer will use the current category as its data source. The first page in the template designer is the Page Setup form. Here, you set the general look of the page and the number and arrangement of product layouts. Begin by defining the page size. Letter and A4 are the most common paper sizes, but you can manually enter any page dimensions in portrait or landscape mode. You can also select one of the two most common display ratios for tablets. A PDF created using these settings will more completely fill the screen of a tablet. Here's a PDF on an iPad emulator, and the same PDF on a PC. You can create as many templates as you need, so you can easily create one design and then copy and modify it for another format. Here's a variation of the same data, formatted for letter size paper. When setting the page margins, the left and right margin will be equal, so you only set the outside value, which applies to both. If you need to set a wider margin on one side, this can be done using the Binding Offset. A category tab always prints on the non-binding edge of the page. This means that if you are using the duplex option on the printing menu to print on both sides of the paper, the category tab will alternate sides as required, even though it only shows on the right side of the sample page here. There are a range of options for the page header using a mix of company banner, category banner, and category label. A company banner is a common image that will print in every category, and this image file is selected on the configuration form. A category banner is a unique image that will print in only one category, and this is set on the category editor form. If you're using an image, the size of the image is controlled by the height of the header or footer. For example, if the header is too short, the image will only expand to fill the available height. If the header is tall, then the image will expand to the maximum width. If your header option uses both the company and category banners, the maximum width for each image is half the page width. The page footer has options using a mix of footer text, page number, and the date field, which is actually a customizable field set on the category editor form and can print the date, category, subcategory, or any custom text. There is also an option for printing a selected data field from the first and last products on the page to create a directory for finding products more easily in large catalogs. Use the Layout tab to set up the number and arrangement of product layouts. Dynamic templates are used where the amount of text varies considerably between products or the data is arranged in tables with different numbers of rows between product groups. The number of products per page can change and each product layout may be a different height. Although this can result in blank spaces at the bottoms of some columns, overall, a dynamic template typically results in a more efficient use of the page and a lower page count than a grid template designed to fit the largest product group. If this is your first time using the application, start with a grid-style template, as this will be easier to design. Select the number of columns and rows to set the number of product layouts on the page. The grid can be filled in order of columns first or rows first. The Auto Height option is typically used only with dynamic templates, where the data fields must change height to accommodate variable text. However, this option can also be used with grid templates to create a more flexible design. If this is your first template, use the Fixed option, as it will be easier. The gap settings control the spacing between product layouts. There are a few options for how photos are printed, and these are used normally only in dynamic templates. In the product layout, you create a reserved space for the product photo. In this example, the photos expand to the maximum width and height set in the design. If the photos are allowed to grow, then the height will be variable, and they will grow to fit the maximum width set in the design. If no image file exists for a product, the reserved space for the photo disappears. There is an option to maintain that space if required. On the Format tab, you can select any of the text elements on the page to change its font and color settings. You can also click any of the text elements on the sample page itself to set it as the active cell and change its attributes. When designing a template, especially a dynamic style, it can be useful to place a border around the product layout to better visualize the available space, even if you don't intend to use a border in the finished design. Product layouts can also have rounded borders using the radius value. If the lines option is used without the border option, vertical lines are created between columns. If the lines option is used together with the borders option, both horizontal and vertical lines will be created. You can create an updated PDF showing your changes at any time. This PDF will open in a separate browser window. Click the Product Layout button to continue to the next step in template design.